And welcome to the Breakin Broncos podcast. I am your host, Dan Wetstein. Unfortunately, we are going to be doing another podcast without a co-host. Unfortunately, Dylan is under the weather. He is fearing the worst, but we're going to hope for the best. He'll be all right. Just needs some time to recover. Once we have some solidifying news on exactly what it is he's got, we'll share it with y'all. But as of right now, he is just too sick and too under the weather to be on live with us tonight. So, just like with Callie, we'll keep him in our prayers and hope that he gets well very, very soon. So that way he can be back on here to talk Broncos for you guys and with me. I know how much I miss my guys when they're not here, and I know how much they miss y'all when they're not here. So trust me, and when I say if they could be here, they would be here. So I apologize, but you're just stuck with me tonight. Um, so getting on to the Broncos and what we were talking about today, there obviously is the off season. Y'all don't think that there's much to talk about, but there's always something to talk about. We can always find things to talk about. That's my job, is to talk about things even when there's nothing to talk about. So we are going to be talking off. First off, ESPN asked 50 coaches, execs, players, etc., kind of like the way the NFL has been doing their top 100 list. ESPN's kind of stole the idea, and instead of just players, they've also included coaches, execs, and things of that nature, but only 50 of them instead of every player in the league. So, with that out of the way, they have ranked their top 10 at each position up until I believe they still have offensive tackles and a couple of other things, a couple other positions left. But I want to talk about it because out of the positions they have done, 4 Broncos have made the list with their peers, coaches, etc. So first off, we have the running back list, which was top 10. Javonte Williams was able to sneak onto that list at number 10. So is that high? Is it too soon? Uh, if you've talked to us, you've listened to us over the last year, you would know, no, we don't believe so. Javonte Williams is one of the legit top 10 backs in the league. And it's not just us saying it anymore. This is coming from his peers, not just other journalists, not local Denver journalists just trying to pump up a local kid. This is coming from across the league of his peers, coaches, execs, ones that have played against him, watched tape on him. They agree that he is a top 10 back. Yes, he just snuck in there at number 10, but let me go ahead and read off this list of top 10 running backs, and you tell me who he jumps over. Number 1, obviously, King Henry, Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans. Number 2, Jonathan Taylor, one of my favorite running backs of the Indianapolis Colts. Nick Chubb, another one of running backs we've talked about ad nauseum here on Breaking Broncos from the Cleveland Browns. Number 4 is Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings, another guy we've heaped a lot of praise on. I really like him. He's really good. His issue is what is an issue with a lot of running backs. It's just, can he stay on the field? Is he durable enough to be as valuable as he can be? And then number 5 is Alvin Kamara. That's the first one that I'm just like, that's a little low. I would definitely put Alvin Kamara above Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, and then there's a debate to be had between him and Jonathan Taylor. I think I'd still probably put Taylor 2, but I think Kamara needs to be in that number 3 slot right behind him. Then there's Joe Mixon. I think he's right about where he should be, right in the middle of the top 10. Christian McCaffrey, I think his has a lot to do with the injuries. I think if he was able to stay healthy over the last couple of years, he's probably that number 1 back in the league. But because of those injuries, he's slid all the way down to number 7. Number 8 is Najee Harris. I really like the way that he plays the game. I think he's the one that you could definitely put Javonte Williams above him. Then you have Aaron Jones at 9. Another guy I think is way too low. I really love Aaron Jones. I know he has a little bit of an injury issue, but I think with A.J. Dillon taking up some of those snaps, keeping him a little fresher will make a world of difference for him. So again, a guy I think he's very, very low. He should be in the top 5. Aaron Jones should be in the top 5 for running backs, not in the bottom 5, let alone number 9. And I think it's probably because he's just not that big of a blazer. He ran a 4.56 40, and the presence of AJ Dillon again that'll limit his production. But I don't think enough to warrant knocking him all the way down to 9. And then at number 10, as we discussed, Javonte Williams. I think I would boost up Aaron Jones to 5, knock everybody else down, and then swap Najee Harris and Javonte Williams. Najee Harris is good. He's good, but not great. Javonte Williams is great. Najee Harris, again, very good. I think he could have a very solid career, but when it's all said and done, Javonte Williams will be head and shoulders above Najee Harris, and I do believe he will play longer than Najee Harris. So that is the running backs list. I gave you what I wanted, what I thought should be done. You let me know. Let me know in the comments, in the description, wherever you would like to leave it. Let me know who your top 10 running backs are, where you would slot Javonte, or if you would even have him on your list. I would love to have that discussion with you. So please, down in the comments, let us know. Next up, we have cornerbacks, which I am sure all of you know who's going to be on this list, and it is the man that we stand, Pat Surtain. We love this man. We have loved him from day one. I told you all from the get-go that taking Surtain over Fields was one of the smartest moves George Paton has made in his tenure as the GM, and I have been proven right after just 1 year. It only took a single season, and this man has already, by his peers and fellow coaches, been made a top 10 cornerback in the league. Justin Fields has been ranked outside of the top 32 quarterbacks in almost every category, and there's only 32 jobs. So again, all you morons that wanted to talk about Pat Surtain being a stupid pick, you are still morons. You are absolute idiots. Shut up and never talk football again. That's all I have to say on that. But moving back, Pat Surtain comes in at number 7 on this list. So again, I'll read them off to you. You let us know if there's anybody you'd move him up, down, side to side, off the list, doesn't matter. Let us know. But number 1, I think is a legit number 1, Jalen Ramsey of the Los Angeles Rams. Kid is an absolute shutdown corner. Can leave him on an island with anybody, and he can knock him off the map and not allow a single pass to get through. Marshawn Lattimore, another I have no problem with. Number 2, lockdown corner for the New Orleans Saints. Number 3, Jair Alexander. I really think he took that step last year. Not mad at him at number 3 for the Green Bay Packers. Xavier Howard, him and Jair, you could make an argument to flip-flop those two, but it's kind of splitting hairs with the guys. It's essentially 3A, 3B. Love Xavier Howard out of Miami. There with the Dolphins. Next is J.C. Jackson. I think this is a bit reactionary. I have always been wary of contract year wonders. Yes, J.C. Jackson improved incrementally every year since he was drafted by the Patriots. But there's a reason why Bill Belichick was unwilling to pay the man. If he drafted him, he had him in his room for that long. He's never had a problem paying defenders. He may not have always spent the money he should have on the offensive side of the Patriots, but he has always been willing to spend the money within reason, obviously, but he's always been willing to, especially on the skill positions. Like, look at the deal they gave Stephon Gilmore back in the day with Ty Law, et cetera, et cetera. So they will pay a defender. So the fact that they let him go, it gives me some pause, but I get it. He had an absolutely amazing year last year. So knee jerk. But again, J.C. Jackson, I don't know if I can put him above Surtain because, again, Surtain did it in year 1. J.C. Jackson took several years before he really got put on the map. Denzel Ward of the Cleveland Browns is number 6. Again, you can make your argument, but he's another guy that I would not put above Pat Surtain. Surtain is just that. He's just that dude. He has been everything you could have possibly wanted from a first-round cornerback and more. He was thrown in the fire and never sweat. Not once did he drop a bead of sweat, even though he was thrown in the furnace from day 1. He was put up against some of the best and the best. I mean, the man took Jamar Chase out of the game with the Bengals. Yes, the Broncos lost that game, but not because of Jamar Chase. Had nothing to do with Jamar Chase. That man had no catches, no yards, nothing. He did nothing against Pat Surtain. And the list goes on and on for every top wideout that kid had. It's just insane. Again, a rookie was able to do that. And I would definitely, at the very least, put him above Denzel Ward and JC Jackson to make him number 5 on this list. So it is definitely low to me. I mean, just he's a star, as one NFL personnel evaluator said. As a rookie, Surtain gave up 45 catches for 495 yards when targeted 89 times as the nearest defender per NFL Next Gen Stats. That's an impressive clip on the backdrop of 4 interceptions, and also racked up 58 tackles and 14 pass breakups. The man did everything: run support, pass coverage, off coverage, zone coverage, man coverage. It did not matter what you made that man do. He did it to the T, and he excelled at it. So the man deserves exactly where he's at and should be ranked higher. And I think just the simple fact that he is a second-year player is the only reason he got put behind those 2 guys. Then there's Marlon Humphrey after him, who again still has booty cheek marks left by Javonte Williams from last year. So that just tells you how nasty of a run that is. Marlon Humphrey is a legit top 10 cornerback and a big cornerback at over 6 foot, 200 pounds, and got drugged like a rag doll for 40 yards. And then AJ Terrell, I do think he took that step. 9, maybe a little low. I think I'd put him up a couple of slots. I really like the way he plays. And then Trayvon Diggs, I think, is overhyped, as most Dallas Cowboys cornerbacks are. He wasn't even the highest rated cornerback per Pro Football Focus or really anything when it comes to advanced analytics. The only thing he had was a bunch of interceptions because quarterbacks were more willing to throw at him, the supposed lockdown corner, than they were his battery mate, who ended up blowing him out of the water in every aspect except interceptions. Because again, they threw at Trayvon more than the other guy. So I think he's a bit of an overreach. I would much rather have seen a Tre'Davious White, Darius Slay. Either one of those guys should have been on this list other than Trayvon Diggs. I'm not saying that Trayvon Diggs is a bad corner, but he is not an elite corner. He just had a really good year where we all know how lucky interceptions can be. Very rarely will you ever see a cornerback have a year like Trayvon had where they have 7 to 10 interceptions and repeat that performance. Almost every other guy in history outside of dudes like Champ or Revis or something, and the reason that they weren't able to sing is because people wouldn't throw it at him. Trayvon may be able to reproduce this season, but simply because quarterbacks don't fear him and they're going to throw at him. And that's where a lot of these big interception totals come from, is that when quarterbacks look on tape, it's like, yeah, they take a lot of risks and it does pay off from time to time, but they're not going to be able to perfectly time breaking on that route every time. There's going to be a time that they miss it, my guy gets it, and there's nobody behind them for them to take it 80 yards for a touchdown. So that's the only reason Trayvon made this list, is just simply because people were willing to throw at him, unlike other places. All right, just checking my comments to make sure I'm not missing anything, because again, I am a one-man band, so I have no one to watch for me. Oh, we got something on Twitter. Just want to make sure, because for those of you that are watching on Twitter, if you comment on this video, for some reason, it does not show up in StreamYard. So I apologize if you are commenting on Twitter. It's either I don't see them or I will not see them until after the live. So I am trying to make sure I keep my notifications up here. And I will do my best if you have comments on Twitter to get to you immediately. But if you want real time and you want me to be able to actually pull your comment up on screen like this, if you go to YouTube or Facebook, they're down in the description, I can get those here. So I just wanted to make sure that those that are watching on Twitter know I'm not ignoring you. I just don't get your comments. So if you want to get comments live on the show where I can pull them up on the screen in that, I do need you to go to either YouTube or Facebook, which I am live on right now. And again, links are all down in the description. Just go down to the description, click on the link, and it'll take you to either Facebook or to, YouTube. I don't know why that just went out of my head. But yeah, either one of those. If you comment on those, they come into StreamYard, which is the OBS that I use. It's the software I use, the easiest way to say it. And then it'll immediately come through. I can read it, bring it on screen, and I can answer you live. So if you are watching on Twitter, just make sure that you know I'm not ignoring you. I appreciate you, but I can't see your comments until I go to Twitter. And sometimes it doesn't even work there. Like I've had people tell me I commented on Twitter and I never got to see the comment. So I apologize if I don't respond. It's not because I didn't see you or I ignored you. Well, I shouldn't say. It's not because I ignored you. It's because I simply cannot see you. So I apologize for that. I bring it to you because y'all are my biggest audience. So I will continue to go live on Twitter, but there is that bit of a snag. So I do apologize for any inconvenience that may cause, but I am here. And also, I will always get to your comments. I will always get to your tweets, all of those things as soon as possible. I have 100% reply rate, which means I literally reply to 100% of the messages sent my way. So as long as you tag me in the message and I get a notification, I promise you, I will get back to you and I will answer any questions you have. I have no problems with that. And I love y'all coming on here and asking me questions live to keep this interesting. That's one of the reasons why I do lives and I love lives so much is the interaction with y'all. So make sure you're coming in, you're commenting, leaving a like, subscribe, all those great things. And we can keep this going and keep the train moving. So now that we are done with cornerbacks, let's move on over to safeties. Justin Simmons got the number one nod. So we're not even going to go through the list. It does not matter. Justin Simmons is absolutely where he belongs. He is the best safety in the league. He does it all. As every coach and player and exec that responded in this survey stated, the man literally does everything. He can cover he can cover tight ends at the safety position. He can cover running backs. And in a pinch, he can even go down in the slot or out wide and cover wide receivers with his size and length and speed that allows him to cover the back end of the defense as a free safety, but also be able to, with that size, be able to come up and play the run as good as any other safety in the league. The man has all the ball hawking abilities you want as a safety, as well as the just not giving a damn, throwing his body on the line and just molly-whopping folks. He might not hit as hard as Kareem Jackson, but he still hits hard. There's no softness in the game of Justin Simmons. A lot of people want to talk about, oh, he's a Bible thumper. He can't be. No, that man on the field is not thumping Bibles. He's thumping humans and he's knocking souls out. That's just what he does. So definitely Justin Simmons has finally gotten the respect he deserves. If it's not going to come from the national media, at least it's coming from his peers, and that's what matters. Then finally, we have the last Bronco to be on any of these lists that have come out so far, and that is our newest, biggest addition. That is Russell, Mr. Unlimited Wilson. He has, and this is the one that really irks me. This is the one that gets under my craw because the blatant disrespect of this man is gross. All of you prejudiced rejects that are out here talking about, oh, Russell Wilson doesn't make a championship. The man's went to 2 championships and won 1. And you can make the claim that, oh, they let Russ cook and that's what cost him. No. What letting Russ cook is what got them to the 2nd Super Bowl. Yes. Should they have ran the ball at least once with Marshawn Lynch at the 1-yard line? Probably. But that's not Marshawn Lynch's forte. If y'all go back and look, just like with Derrick Henry, and y'all can call it slander all you want. Taylor Lewan can come at me if he likes. They are not power backs. They are not guys. Javonte Williams is a power back. When you hit Javonte Williams in a phone booth, he will still run over you. Derrick Henry needs to get going. He needs to move along. And so therefore, it's the same thing. Back and forth. Either guy. Dude, they're not power backs. Get over it. But I digress. That doesn't matter because the fact is Russell Wilson is an elite QB. Period. All you other morons that want to argue otherwise, I don't care who you are, from Keyshawn Johnson to John Johnson down at the freaking bar. I don't care. You're all morons. To sit there and say the man is not an elite QB makes you a moron. Plain and simple. If you want to make an argument that he's not the best QB in the league, that's fine. You have plenty of arguments for Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, etc. to make him not the best, but to sit here and slander this man's name, saying he is not an elite QB, that he is not a guy that raises all boats, please tell me, outside of Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf, name one person on that Seattle offense. Name one person on that Seattle defense. You can't. Unless you're a guy like me, you can't. And that's all you need to know, because the man with all these no names was still winning. Outside of last year where he got hurt for the first time, and still had a heck of a year before and after the injury. It was a down year for Russell Wilson, but yeah, a down year for Russell Wilson is a wet dream for Drew Lock and Jameis Winston. It's that serious. Any other quarterback outside of the other elites in this game, what Russell Wilson did last year is a wet dream for them. It is their fantasy to have a year that he had last year, which is a down year. And yet all you morons are sitting out here talking about Mr. Unlimited's overrated and he's not even going to bring the Broncos to the playoffs. Where, when, how, where do you get any of this information? Because none of you have any facts to back it up other than, oh, when they won it, it was the Legion of Boom. They also had a top 3 offense. It wasn't just that they had a top 3 defense. They had a top 3 offense and defense. It's why they went and mollywopped the Denver Broncos 43-8 in the freaking Super Bowl. How dumb do you have to be to not see that? Or, I don't know, biased, racist, I don't know. Those are the only things I can figure for you to sit there. Like, obviously, no, Keyshawn Johnson's not racist, but he's also definitely biased. And I am not going to say that Keyshawn Johnson is intelligent, not even with football. He can sit here and claim that he knows a little football, but the only thing you ever did, dude, was cry for the ball. You were never special. Yes, you got to be the number 1 overall pick, but you were never that special. You never lived up to the hype, ever, in any way. So for you to sit here and act like because you were the number 1 overall pick, Ryan Leaf was a top 5 draft pick, doesn't mean that he is a football expert. It doesn't mean that just because he says something makes it gospel. That's another thing I hate about ex-players, is that just because I played it means my word means more. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, yes, your insight is more in depth. Yes, you can give stories from inside the locker room that I can't give, but your expertise is not better than mine. There's some out there. Like, I'd say Peyton Manning's expertise is definitely bigger than mine. A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of linebackers. But Keyshawn, no. He proves it every day. Especially with the fact of, especially his Russell Wilson takes. Like, they're the worst. This man props up guys like Aaron Rodgers. Says Aaron Rodgers is the best guy in the league that has the same Super Bowl record as Russell Wilson. So, again, I ask, how do you say Russell Wilson's not an elite QB, but Aaron Rodgers is? That right there, the fact that you have those two sentences come out of your mouth make you a moron. It makes you uncredible. It makes it one of the dumbest statements in sports. One of the dumbest takes in sports. Like, seriously, how do you have those two things coming out of each side of your mouth? Which one is it? Is it that one guy rode his defense to a championship and that makes him non-elite? Or is it the guy that rode a defense to a championship is elite? Which one is it? And I hate to say it's like, I mean, come on, Keyshawn. Brother, you got to look in the mirror to figure out this one. Like, how are you pointing to one or the other? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying Keyshawn's racist, but where's the bias coming from? Where's that coming? Where's the stupidity coming from? Like, that's insane to me. How you can sit here and just talk about this man not being elite because he had one bad year. The man's done nothing but win. Russell Wilson has done nothing but win outside of 1 year. And because of 1 year, you think that proves what? Nothing. Exactly. You've proven nothing. So, speaking of disrespect and Danger Russ, he ain't laying down and taking it, y'all. Let me go ahead and share this with you real quick. Boom. This is Russell Wilson on Twitter. I'm used to the doubt. I'm used to the work too. And then posting a workout video. The man don't care. I mean, he obviously cares. But he is here to prove something. Y'all can sit here and talk about him being corny. And I think that's so lazy. I mean, to me, the reason people call him corny is because he's not a thug. Like, that's what it boils down to me. It's like, I mean, if being corny gets you Sierra, I'm corny all day. Like, seriously, y'all. Y'all want to talk about his street cred? How about the fact that he got Sierra and got babies with Sierra? I mean, took Sierra from Future. So, obviously, Mr. Gangsta Future got less street cred than Russell Dangerous Wilson. If y'all want to break it down to who's corny, who's this, and who's that. So I'm really tired of seeing. I don't think this actually got up. There we go. I'm used to the doubt. I'm used to the work. There you go. See the full thing. And y'all can see him working out. Like, does that look like a man that's washed up? Does that look like a man that's having issues with his athleticism, with his age, with anything? Doesn't look like it to me. The only thing he wants y'all to remember is, again, when he goes to bed, he gets to lay down next to Sierra while you laying down to the chick you met at the trailer park. So, simmer down, little boy. Simmer down. You ain't what you think you are.
Nice job. Nice job.
And Russ definitely is who he knows he is. So, for all the disrespect, I cannot wait to see what this man does in the regular season. And also, this kind of goes back to where everybody's talking about how the athletes always claim they don't hear the noise, they don't listen to what's said. I think it's been made pretty obvious Russell Wilson listens. I mean, that was coming out shortly after Keyshawn Johnson was sitting up on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN talking about how Russell Wilson ain't that guy. So the man obviously listens. And honestly, I like the rhetoric. I like the fight. Like, y'all want to talk about he's corny, that he's this, that he's that, and then he goes out and he does those things and shows you he's not scared. Just because he talks about Jesus and all these other things, the man's not weak in any way. Because you remember when y'all were talking about how Russell Wilson don't want nothing to do with the Broncos because of Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert? Y'all proved to be morons when you said that. So I'm saying this now so that we have receipts when I call you a moron again in the future for continuing to say stupid shit. Stop it. Moving on, before I go too far into that and break all the SEC rules. Top 5 breakout candidates for the Broncos. I've seen somebody else talking about them. I didn't like their list, so I'm going to make my own. And here is my list for you all. First off, number 1, Albert Okwuegbunam, or Albert O, as we like to call him. He is the tight end for the Broncos. He will take over for Noah Fant. I know people are talking about Greg Dulcich and that hype train's essentially off the rails at this point. I like Greg. I think he can do some nice things, but Albert O is a different animal. This man is 6'6", 265 pounds, and runs a 4.49 40. Those are stupid numbers, y'all. Those are stupid numbers. He is bigger than Dulcich and faster than Dulcich. So, with the fact that Russell Wilson was able to make guys like Will Dissly look like elite tight ends, Albert O is going to feast in this offense. Albert O is going to be that safety blanket that Russell hasn't had since Jimmy Graham, that helped them get to that Super Bowl we were talking about that they lost. Like, once he got Jimmy, that offense went to a whole nother level. Well, he's already got 2 versions of Jimmy. One's bigger and faster. The other one's essentially the same version of Jimmy. That's Greg Dulcich is Jimmy's best comp today. And then Albert O is just a freak all off on his own. So I see Albert going for at least 50 catches, 600 yards, and double-digit touchdowns. I'll say at least 12 because of just how much of a matchup nightmare he is. And Russ just finds his tight ends. I don't know what it is. He's never, outside of that couple of years of Jimmy Graham in his prime, he's never had a top-notch tight end, and he's got 2 now. So I look for this offense to be scary. Jonas Griffith is my number 2. Middle linebacker, came out of nowhere, was traded just to be a special teams maven. He's another physical freak, standing at about 6'4", 250, running a 4.5 40. Like, he's essentially the linebacker version of Albert O. It's insane to think about how big and fast these men are, but this is the NFL, and this is where the world's elite athletes go, and this is what you got to deal with, man. It's insane. And I do not envy offensive linemen or linebackers having to deal with either of those first 2 guys. My number 3 guy is Baron Browning. I know a lot of people might be like, oh, well, no, he didn't really break out. He did really nice things as a rookie, as a middle linebacker. But I'm saying he is going to break out as an outside linebacker. This kid's physical freakness is on the level of Von Miller, of Elvis Dumervil, DeMarcus Ware, etc. He is special athletically. And so putting him on the edge, allowing him to do crazy things in this new defense, it's going to be very similar to Fangio, but you're going to see a lot more sub packages. You're going to see a lot less middle linebackers. So there's going to be a lot more onus on outside linebackers covering. This is why Baron Browning has been moved to outside linebacker. I don't know why these pundits haven't talked about this yet, but it's the reason why he got moved. It's because there's going to be one middle linebacker on the field most of the time. All the rest of the time, it's going to be safeties and cornerbacks as opposed to a middle linebacker, if there's even a middle linebacker on the field. This is another reason why the Broncos did not go out and spend a bunch of money on middle linebackers. Evero's defense is predicated on sub packages, big safeties, small linebackers. And only one middle linebacker usually is on the field outside of obvious running downs. So you're going to see a lot of Baron Browning in sub packages as a coverage outside linebacker, but he is also going to be mixed up a lot like what Dallas has done with Micah Parsons. He is going to be all over the formation. One play, he might be out on the edge. One play, he might be down with his hand in the dirt. The next play, he might be out at middle linebacker or even out in the slot covering a tight end or a running back that's been flexed out. That is the versatility that Baron Browning gives you, and it becomes even a bigger Swiss Army knife when you put him on the edge because you can literally send him in any direction. And Evero is going to be a mad scientist with the way that he deploys Baron Browning. Next up, a lot of people want to be talking about Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick. Not enough people have been talking about KJ Hamler. And I bring him up because he is going to be Russell Wilson's new Tyler Lockett. If y'all look, just go and watch videos with KJ and Russ. There's so much chemistry there already. On God, like just watch the On God video. It's a lot like when people were playing that video of Monte Morris looking at Nikola Jokic last year in the playoffs with that. I don't even want to describe the look. It's just like it's the look that a man or a woman gives their significant other. Like that's the type of look that he was giving, and that's the type of looks that be going back and forth with Russ and KJ. They have a special type of chemistry already, and with that speed that he has, and Russ's ability to get loose in the backfield, they are going to hook up on a lot of those insane down the field passes that him and Lockett were famous for. KJ Hamler is going to take that Tyler Lockett spot. And I think that the production that is taken away from a Jeudy, a Patrick, and a Sutton just might surprise a lot of you. Then my final guy, Quinn Miners, the belly that is no more. It's kind of sad that we won't get to talk about the belly, but the man is jacked. He is looking as fit as you possibly can for an offensive lineman. He took it serious this offseason, and he is bringing it all this season to become a full-time starter. I do believe he wins the right guard position over Graham Glasgow. I do believe he is a day one starter, and I think he turns out to be one of the best guards in the league in his second year. I'm really excited to see how this kid develops. And so him being on that line is going to be absolutely sweet. All right. So everything else looks good here. Again, I just want to remind y'all before we go real quick, always make sure you go down in the description if you haven't already. Like, subscribe at all of our socials. They're all down there. Right here is the Twitter. As I stated in the previous podcast, we just hit 2.25 thousand subscribers on Twitter, making us a legit and recognized news organization. Not too bad for the little guy with the little crusade with just 27 followers a couple of months ago, right? All right. So make sure y'all keep showing the love. Hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, hit the bell so you get the notifications every time we go live. This is a good place for me to stop it here tonight. Again, I am always open. The DMs are open. The comments are open. If y'all ever have questions, y'all ever have a topic you want us to talk about, or you just want to shoot the breeze, I am always here. We're always around. Make sure you give Dylan, Callie, Amato, all the rest of the Tay42 fam a like and a subscribe. They will do the same for you. Always reach out to us. We're always happy to talk sports. This is what we do. This is what we love, people. This is how it all works. So for the Breakin Broncos, the answer is 42. Don't question the blue.